In October 2024, we released an episode called The Beer Kellers and the Beer Gardens of Munich. And this is a scene from that episode where we take a visit to Weisses Bräuhaus, the home of Schneider Weisse.
Marmorstein und Eisen bricht, aber unsere Liebe nicht. Alles geht vorbei, doch wir sind uns treu. Kann ich einmal nicht bei dir sein, dam dam, dam dam. Denk daran, du bist nicht allein, dam dam, dam dam. Marmorstein und Eisenbrief.
Well, lads, cheers. It's 9:30 in the morning, and we are in the Weisses Bräuhaus. And Weisses basically means white, and it's these days home to Schneider Weisse, which you will see in pubs and shops across the UK. Weissbier, wheat beer. Now, the history of wheat beer and indeed this particular building goes back several hundred years. I bet you didn't know that, Crystal?
I didn't.
You didn't know that? I didn't know that. Let's have a quick sip before we go into it. So, the German purity law, as it's known, started actually here in Munich back in 1487, which restricted the number of ingredients that you can use in a beer. It was reduced in Munich down to hops, barley and water. Back in those days they didn't know yeast was actually an ingredient. So as time has progressed that they realised that yeast plays a role in the fermentation of beer and other alcohols. So 1487, but more famously it was rolled out across Bavaria in 1516. So as part of that, obviously, the restriction in terms of those 4 ingredients, or 3 ingredients as they thought it was back then, meant you couldn't use wheat. And wheat beer was a massive beer across Bavaria and Germany more generally, Germany as it is today at least anyway. And the reason for that, conflicting stories or different conspiracy theories behind it, is that because wheat beer was so popular, it was actually reducing the amount of stock that was available to make bread. So when Duke Wilhelm IV of Bavaria introduced the German purity law, it was to really protect wheat reserves. However, there was a little bit of schneidiness in there because they did actually allow a family from the nobility called the Degenbergers to continue brewing Weissbier throughout that period. And it was for the upper classes and the nobility. Now, we get to, I think it's 1602, and whoever the head of the Degenberger family was then died, didn't leave an heir behind, so the Bavarian court brought the brewery under its, of Weissbier under its own control. So this building here opened in 1607. So started brewing Weissbier in this particular building, but it wasn't until 1872 that the Schneider family took on the lease of this particular place, and the Schneider Weisse was born. So by that point, the wheat beer had died a bit of a death. Wasn't really popular because brown beers were becoming more and more popular, bottom fermenting beers, and this thing was a little bit more niche. But just after the war, the operation that was brewing here migrated to another part of Bavaria, but we still have the Weisses Bräuhaus under the Schneider Weisse umbrella here in the centre of Munich today, and we're going to have I'm not a big fan of Weissbier, but it's all right, isn't it? It's all right. But it's nice and cold. Not necessarily something you want for breakfast. We're going to have some food. Top fermenting yeasts, so fermented at higher temperatures gives you different sort of flavours. You'll probably get a little bit of banana in there from the isoamyl acetate. You see that in a lot of them. So that'll go well with my scrambled eggs in a minute. So yes, the German purity law and the history of Schneider Weisse and Weissbier more generally, yeah, all stems from here in Munich.
So, sausages.
Sausages.
So then we have
Scrambled egg. Perfect, thank you.
vegetables, welcome. Okay, so 2 plates more for you.
Oh, there's a big sausage for the lads.
So sausage, some sweet mustard. Enjoy.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes. Right. Well, we'll enjoy this, and then we'll go and have a look around some other establishments. Cheers.